Hey everyone, Reminex with a very important infographic, some information that has been a labor of love from Ibambe, Dr. Chaos, and Vrondius. They've been working diligently to get this information in your hands because, well, we're going to talk about why these numbers are so important, why they're going to help you navigate the pitfalls of Alliance War, and the impact it's going to have on making decisions for your roster regardless of your level in the game. Let's get right to it. So right now we've got the stat progression chart, and one of the questions I have is, where should I stop with my characters? And so as a function of what you need them to do, they're going to have to compare to your opponents. So if you're seeing G14 on your opponent's war side, you're going to want to consider taking your characters to the level 74 mark. And we're going to talk about why 74 is important versus all of this. And then we're really going to go down to the nuts and bolts of kind of why orange gear is such a bottleneck. And it's part of it's our fault, specifically mine, but that's a whole nother story. So we're getting into level 70. And so you just finished Dark Dimension 2. You have a G13 character. And so that first level 71 increase gave you a huge percent focus increase. Now, for a lot of people, you're probably going to want to consider stopping with the majority of your roster at 71. Even if you're progressing at 75, you're going to want to take up key components at 71 and then only bring them up to the next threshold if they stop doing what you need them to do. And you'll kind of know that if you can take a look at the numbers. Remember, msf.gg is one of the most important tools you'll ever have at your disposal, and it is being more and more valuable every day. So when we talk about this, you can take a look at focus and resistance. Now, this is specifically important in any way when you're looking at war and you're working at a PvP scenario. So when you're looking at arena, when you're looking at war, when you're looking at any, even in a minor way, blitz win chances and things along those lines, these percentages are going to make a difference whether or not you're going to land the ability. So realistically, 71 nets you one of the biggest results for the easiest amount of money. Now remember, these are a conglomerate numbers. They're kind of universally applied, and we're going to go over how they were derived in a little bit. 74 is that next increase, and then 75 isn't bad. It's actually more than the other levels, but it's actually when you apply that G 14 that you get this huge health damage and armor bonus, and then you double the resistance here. So from 70 to 75, you get 39%, but you get this huge 18% increase when you equip that 13 to 14 when you start equipping that gear. That is a pretty sizable difference. Now, it's going to vary depending on how much of it was 13 and 14, but it's pretty linear, so we kind of used an average table here. So looking at 20% damage, health, and armor, and then 71% focus and resistance. So if you guys have ever seen a G14 character and you're using a G12 character, know that you are at a significant disadvantage when it comes down to being able to land debuffs or resist debuffs. So they just don't function the way that they're supposed to. And so this is really kind of the problem with orange gear. So let's look at what happens when you go to 76. We just had a level cap increase, and so it's a little bit different. Each level does make an impact here, but the idea behind the impact is it isn't anywhere near the degree that you saw with the focus and resistance. So it's not as important in a PvP aspect, but you can make small jumps when you actually apply it. But however, the combined scores of 14 to 15, when you look at it, is 21%. So right around the same health, damage, and armor. A lot less from the focus and resistance. But when you look at your G12s, the G13s right here, when you look at the increase, just a huge portion. A lot of us had stopped at G12 because it was a functional difference. It was functionally how he saved resources. So you can, I guess, again, you can get some of that back just from simply adding levels, 71 specifically and 74. But the gear increase will be substantial when you're adding all of that up. So you can take a look at these numbers. We're going to be sharing this spreadsheet with you guys and going over this. So let's talk about why I think this is the problem that we have with the game. The problem is much of it is gated by these horrible bottlenecks, and so if you were able to bring up characters to G14, you set them on war defense, you set them on your arena defense, and people had to find a way to overcome it, and a lot of that had to do with bringing the characters up. And even to a certain degree, we're seeing that happen with the G15s in war and in arena, because that isn't just a small number. You're looking at a 21% damage increase when you're taking a look at the overall power level, and some of that can mean, you know, Thanos' snap at 7 red stars is just decimating you, or somehow is able to kill Doom before he takes his turn. Yeah, that's happening too. So when we look at where they went wrong, it is really, this is just insane when you think about the power that was combined in 5 levels in 1 gear tier. Realistically, they introduced these new G15 minis, which are now farmable through the Doom campaign. I say farmable, but they are, you know, they're available in the Doom campaign a year after their release, and they're still having a significant impact on everybody's experience throughout the game. Again, this is the impact. This is what you're looking at when you're seeing all of the resistances, and you're wondering why your war team isn't efficient. So if you're a new player, okay, I will tell you that you want to save orange gear for significant characters, specifically probably for offense on war, for your arena teams when you decide what that becomes, and you really want to move through those ranks. So you're going to be looking at, when you start making these crest points, 71 if you're going to start pushing some of the content that will help you get some of that focus and resistance to help you beat the actual Doom campaign, or 74 if you are seeing 75. But these are the points, these are the break points when you see the biggest increase in stats. So if you guys are level 75 through level 80 and you're wondering what you should do, only take up characters that are significantly important to your roster, either your war offense, war defense, and arena teams, and maybe your raid teams. Now, in the next coming weeks, we're going to try to be your one-stop shop for helping you get through the Doom raids. We're going to take a look at the teams that we have available, and we're going to talk about when you should start considering going into Doom, and more importantly, the actual change in philosophy is you're actually going to want to target Dark Dimension 4. Doom makes a significant impact on 2 factors. One is your ability to have more agency over your own roster and select a couple of more characters to bring up to G15. But more importantly, using Doom in the Mystic and Tech nodes makes them simpler for your alliance. So make sure you guys are making the right choices and making characters that are significant. I'm seeing a lot of information out there from people who aren't doing Doom raids right now, and I really am concerned about when that information, you know, hits everyone and they make these turns, because we're talking about the significant amount of power that maybe a character has, but if they aren't being used in the Doom raid, they probably shouldn't be even considered beyond war and arena teams. So take that into consideration. These are, like I said, they're going to be the focus going forward, trying to help you figure out and navigate all the different concerns you guys have when it comes to ISOs and everything else coming up. So again, special thanks to Ibambe and Dr. Chaos. I don't know if you guys will see the links. You guys will have a link to this inside the video here. These guys have spent a lot of time. Vrondius did give them a couple of numbers from our charts, but Again, this is a really easy to digest and understand infographic that'll help you navigate these level increase and all the questions that I've been seeing on this. Now, the average is based on 7 stars, 5 red star passive, and remember the passive level 5 for health, so that you can take a look at some of the numbers. Now, what I will tell you is it's linear growth on some of these characters. So even if you don't have them at 5 red star, 7 star, you'll see it may not seem as big of a jump, but it is a percentage gain as you build them up. So it'll be referenced in overall in your character. So, all right, guys, thank you very much. Remember, I do things so you don't have to, and I've wasted a lot of resources on G15s that have made absolutely no impact on my roster. Check me out on Twitch if you're curious, and I'll make some more YouTubes for you coming soon.